Good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here. We called this briefing today to make sure every San Diegan knows what's happening, what to expect, and where to turn to for help. And very unfortunately, 2 days from now, on November 1st, CalFresh benefits will not be reloaded because the federal government shutdown has stopped new funding for food assistance. This means nearly 400,000 people in San Diego County who count on CalFresh to buy groceries will not see their EBT cards refilled this weekend. For many families, that will mean real hardship. Some will have to stretch what they have, others will go without, and too many will not know why until it happens. When families lose access to food assistance, the impact does not stop at the dinner table. They fall behind on rent, on medications, on car payments. They take on more personal debt just to get by. This puts housing, health, and the overall stability of working and middle-class families in our region at very serious risk. So that's why we brought everyone here together today, the county, our federal partners, and our local food organizations, to get clear information out and coordinate our response. We have messages and instructions for all San Diegans. For those who rely on CalFresh, you'll hear what this delay means, what comes next, and how to find food through 211 San Diego and by relying on our local food networks. And for those who do not, we are asking for your help. We're asking you to volunteer, donate, and share this information with your neighbors. You'll hear shortly from Vice Chair Montgomery Steppe on our county's response, Congressmember Mike Levin on what's happening in Washington and what it will take to restart federal funding, Feeding San Diego and the Jacobs and Cushman San Diego Food Bank on what they're seeing in our community. And then we will see a short demonstration from 211 San Diego showing how people can locate food resources online. I won't sugarcoat this. What we are looking at is a hunger crisis in our community. The entire history of the SNAP program, even during past government shutdowns, benefits have never been completely halted like this. And this is going to hit our community very hard. Across our county, families are already trying to figure out how to stretch what's remaining on their cards. Many of these households support children, seniors, people with disabilities. These families will need help. We at the county are doing everything we can to limit the harm that's being created by the federal government shutdown. To those in our region who have the resources to spare, your community needs you and your neighbors need you. So please reach out to our food distribution partners and our philanthropic networks to explore how you can help families in our neighborhoods from going hungry. So first of all, thank you to all of our partners and everyone helping keeping food moving where it's needed most. To our federal colleagues and our representatives fighting for San Diego and Washington, thank you for standing with us. Thank you for fighting to fund healthcare. Thank you for fighting to fund food benefits. Thank you for fighting to end the shutdown so families can get the help they've earned. So thank you all. Please welcome Vice Chair Monica Montgomery Steppe.
Thank you so much, Chair Lawson-Remer, and good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. There is no question that we are in a very difficult moment in time. The decisions coming down from the federal level are creating uncertainty and frustration for many people. A lot of residents are losing trust in government, and I do understand why. But I want to make this clear. At the county level, we are very focused on preparing for what's next. Our county has activated notification protocols that include robocalls and texts to all impacted residents. If you have received this message, it is not a scam. We want to keep you informed. As we approach November 1st, our county access call line, normally closed on weekends, will be open this Saturday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. As we prepare to handle the higher volume of calls, we want residents to know that they have a place to turn for information and assistance. These SNAP delays are only the first in what will likely be a series of challenges created by this administration's policies. But our county is ready to step up and take action to reduce the impact on local families. On Tuesday, the board will consider several items that address the immediate shortfalls we're seeing. This includes the creation of a safety net bridge program that adds free food justice components to help ensure that residents can access healthy food and basic resources. At the state level, the California Attorney General has filed a lawsuit against the Trump administration for failing to release emergency funds for families at risk of going hungry. Without that funding, the burden falls disproportionately on our low-income families, our veterans, our children, and communities of color who already face systemic barriers. And today's announcement is about ensuring that people have the correct information as we fight for resources and restore dignity that you deserve. It's also important for residents to know that unused benefits will not expire at the end of this month. That means if you still have remaining benefits from October, they will remain available for your use. However, new November benefits will not be distributed until the shutdown ends. Even then, there may be delays. We recognize that this delay creates real hardship, especially as we gear up for family holidays like Thanksgiving. That's why we're collaborating with our local food banks, community organizations, and federal partners to fill the gaps as best that we can. Our community has always been defined by collaboration and resilience. This situation is no different. The county will continue to communicate clearly and act decisively to support residents through this period of uncertainty. And with that, it is my pleasure to introduce someone who has been a strong advocate for our region and for our working families, Congressman Mike Levin, representing California's 49th District.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Good morning. Thank you so much to Chair Lawson-Remer and Vice Chair Montgomery Steppe for your incredible advocacy and your tireless work on behalf of all San Diegans. And I thank all our service providers as well. You're going to hear from some of them today. We are now just hours away from millions of Americans losing the help that they count on to buy groceries because my Republican colleagues, particularly in the House, have failed to even show up to work. And I want you to remember the number 41. It's been 41 days because of Speaker Mike Johnson since the House of Representatives met in full session. 41 days. Certainly the longest I've ever experienced. It may be a record, period. It's also 41 days in which we haven't had a single appropriations bill. We haven't had any sort of bipartisan discussion, any meaningful bipartisan discussion around fixing any of this mess, whether around healthcare or food. And the other 41 I want you to remember is 41 million. Because if the Trump administration doesn't act right now, 41 million Americans, about 1 in 8 people in the United States of America, are going to lose the help that they need to have enough food on the table. It's truly catastrophic. That number includes 16 million children, 8 million seniors, 4 million people with disabilities, and more than 1 million veterans. In our district alone, up in North County, over 17,000 households rely on this help to keep food on the table. I am grateful to be a member of the House Appropriations Committee, and I will tell you that I know how these programs are funded. I know how USDA's backup funds are structured, and Congress set aside around $6 billion, roughly $3 billion in fiscal year 24, $3 billion in fiscal year 25 for emergencies in the event of things just like this, to make sure that families can still buy food during a government shutdown or any other emergency. That money, roughly $5.5 billion of it, is sitting at USDA right now. There is no reason other than trying to score political points why the Trump administration can't use that money right now, at least to keep SNAP benefits in place for the next 2 to 3 weeks. The SNAP program costs around $8 billion a month to administer. So if you have $5.5 or $6 billion, that should get you through at least a couple of weeks. Refusing to use that money when tens of millions of people are about to lose the food security that they need, just for the basics, is morally reprehensible. It is entirely indefensible, and it is shameful. It is shameful. That's why I've called on USDA to use every dollar right now and use every tool that it has so that families don't wake up next week and find their grocery cards empty. Congress provided those funds for exactly this scenario. In the Senate, my colleagues have introduced legislation to keep SNAP going through the shutdown, and I strongly support that effort. But let's not lose sight of the bigger picture. We have to reopen the government. Again, it's been 41 days since House Republicans last showed up to work. And this week, Speaker Johnson said, and I quote, "House Republicans are doing some of the most meaningful work of their careers," end quote. He means while they're at home, while they're on an extended vacation. What a joke. What a joke. If leaving 41 million Americans wondering how they'll buy groceries is meaningful, then the Speaker and House Republicans have lost all touch with reality. I was in Washington yesterday and the day before, and other than Speaker Johnson, nobody was around from the House Republican Conference. There was no one to have a substantive discussion with on how we reopen the government. That's not leadership. That's walking away from the job. And even worse, tomorrow members of Congress will get paid unless they write a letter to House administration saying, "Do not pay me during a government shutdown," which I have written. But all of our congressional staff, I've got one here, will not get paid tomorrow. I'm sorry about that. But think of that. What kind of boss takes their paycheck while their staff doesn't get paid? You should ask every member of Congress whether they're going to forgo their paycheck tomorrow. It's disgraceful. The only responsible path forward is for everybody to get back to DC. I'm close to the airport. Take the next flight back if there was actually a path forward. Work with us to reopen the government. Make sure families can buy the food that they need and protect the livelihoods of millions and millions of people. And we haven't even talked about health care. We'll save that for another day. But I'm ready to negotiate with anyone, anytime, of either party in good faith to end this shutdown and make sure that no family in this country has to worry about their next meal. We were elected as representatives to work for the American people, not to take a 5-week break while families struggle to make ends meet. Putting food on the table and keeping people healthy are worth fighting for. And I'm going to keep fighting until Congress gets back and gets this done. And with that, I want to introduce Bob Kamensky, the CEO of Feeding San Diego. Bob.
I'm going to speak to you in a non-political position, speaking as a CEO of Feeding San Diego, a realist, and a humanitarian. This morning, when I pulled into our parking lot, I saw a line of people extending out from our marketplace pantry at our facility 2 hours before scheduled opening. Right now, while we are holding this press conference, there are 400 families attending a food distribution in Escondido at the request of 4 of our agency partners who said we are being overwhelmed. At the same time, we have 200 families at Camp Pendleton being provided with food because they are running short. This is unprecedented. There are many people in the federal side and federal contractors impacted by the shutdown, and now we're looking at the 400,000 fellow San Diegans who use the CalFresh benefits falling into the social safety net represented by private nonprofits. Those people who are being disadvantaged, almost forgotten, stop and consider some of the organizations that I'm going to give you that we have just recently, within the last 11 days, provided basic food sustenance to. TSA employees, 700 family boxes just last week. Airport Authority, they've requested 800 more next week. Family housing, Navy Base Point Loma. Family housing, Camp Pendleton. And our agency network, comprised of more than 200 partners who work directly with Feeding San Diego, are asking for 25 to 40% increase in food for distribution because of the surge. San Diego has always shown up for neighbors in need. And right now, our community needs that generosity again. I've witnessed it firsthand. Neighbors from Pendleton, from Miramar, who have been furloughed, TSA employees, yesterday, Veterans Administration office workers. To anyone worried or struggling about putting food on the table, there is help available. And we are here to serve every corner of this great county of San Diego. We do it through our private philanthropy. We use our volunteers. And we use the support of fellow San Diegans helping fellow San Diegans. And with that, I would like to introduce Casey Castillo from the San Diego Food Bank, who is a partner in this hunger relief network that we represent. Casey?
Thanks, Bob. Good morning. I'm Casey Castillo, CEO of the San Diego Food Bank. First, I'd like to thank Chair Lawson-Remer for the opportunity to participate today and get information out to folks about how the delay in CalFresh benefits is impacting San Diego. As the largest hunger relief organization in the county, we're seeing and hearing firsthand the concern, and in some cases, even fear and panic building. But I want to assure people in San Diego that our regional partners are ready to act. We're all operational, and we will be here to support the county. I also think it's important to let people know that this is, as Bob mentioned, unprecedented time. We've never seen anything like that, and as food banks, we've responded to emergencies in the past. COVID, the Great Recession, flooding, wildfires. We've never seen anything like this. As you heard, this CalFresh funding pause will directly impact nearly 400,000 San Diegos and stop roughly $73 million in federal benefits from being issued locally in CalFresh dollars. To put it in another way, this benefit delay in November could create a deficit of up to 16 million meals here in the county. Again, that's 1 month, November, 16 million meals. We're already seeing an increase in demand as CalFresh recipients begin to prepare themselves for the impact of this crisis. During the last few weeks, the San Diego Food Bank has seen a 7% increase in pounds of food requested and distributed to our nonprofit partners. Additionally, there have been a 6% increase in community members accessing our Client Choice Pantry. And in just the last week, we've seen a sharp increase in people signing up for our food bank ID card to access food. That's a 10 times increase that we've seen just in the last week. In addition to this immediate emergency, nearly a quarter of this county's current CalFresh enrollees are at risk of losing some or all of their benefits permanently due to the federal policy changes scheduled to be implemented soon. That means as many as 100,000 current CalFresh recipients may see actual decreases in their benefits once they resume, creating a different kind of long-term crisis for these neighbors, and they will need our support. In a high-cost city like San Diego, a short delay and a long-term reduction in CalFresh benefits As I had mentioned, these are real hardships. These are real people. I was reminded as we were listening to some of those speakers of a woman we met a number of years ago. This was a senior. We had the opportunity to be in her home and learn a little bit more about her and about her food needs. And when we started to get into that part of the conversation, she got up out of her family room, went to the kitchen, took a calendar off her fridge, came back in, and she showed us crossed off days on our calendar. She titled No Eat Days. That's who's going to be impacted here. These are grandmas. These are children. These are hardworking families that just need a little bit extra help. We've already begun, the San Diego Food Bank has already begun purchasing and receiving additional food orders to meet the growing need. And are estimating we'll have a total initial expenditure of at least $1.5 million in capital outlay to respond to this crisis. We also anticipate needing to spend an additional $300,000 a week to ensure enough food remains available to support our community during this emergency. And this is in addition to the normal purchasing and normal food deliveries that we're doing every day. We've already implemented about a dozen pop-up distributions for federal workers, and we are implementing additional pop-up distributions for CalFresh recipients, with our first one happening this weekend, ensuring our more than 450 nonprofit partners have enough food inventory to meet any additional needs in their communities. The need is urgent. The time to act is now. And as I said earlier, it will take all of us, philanthropy, nonprofits, businesses, governments, support from the community, take all of us to close the gap, help our neighbors who through no fault of their own now find themselves in this position. I've been at the San Diego Food Bank for more than 18 years, and I've witnessed the amazing generosity and caring of this community time and time again when people are at risk. San Diego step up in times of need, and I'm asking today for you to please join us and do it again. All the efforts I just mentioned to quickly provide millions of pounds of food during this crisis are only possible because of the generous support of this community. So how can you help? And you heard some of that earlier. If you can give monetarily, that would be amazing. If you can host a food drive, that would be awesome. If you would like to volunteer at our warehouses or out at distributions, that would be welcome as well. Together, we can ensure no one in San Diego County goes hungry. As I know Bob mentioned already, and I just want to reiterate this, if you need help finding food, please go to our food locator maps. Find a resource in your neighborhood. Again, I'd like to thank Chair Lawson-Remer for this opportunity and all of those in this room for their leadership. I'm going to turn the time over now to my good friend, CEO of 2-in-1, Bill York.
Good morning. Thanks, Casey, and thank you, Chair Lawson-Remer and Vice Chair Montgomery Steppe, and Congressional Member Mike Levin, and all of our community partners here. Again, I appreciate all the work that the San Diego Food Bank and Feeding San Diego are doing in all of our community pantries and locations that they serve, and the many community resources that are responding to this need. I'm here representing 2-in-1 San Diego, and that is our trusted community connection to health and social services. As you heard today, there are over 395,000 individuals that will be hurt by the government shutdown. Over 240,000 households and families depend to put food on the table. During this crisis, and every day, we're helping community citizens navigate the food systems as well as many other resources every day. We have been working over the last weeks to make sure that we've enhanced our technology, our community connectors, to make sure we're prepared to help navigate the many resources that our partners are supporting along with the county. We have agents, again, that are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with more than 200 languages, and they're ready to connect people. They understand their need. They're San Diegans serving San Diegos for food banks, pantries, and meal programs that are operating. Anyone can simply call 2-in-1 to speak with a trained specialist or visit 2in1sandiego.org, where we have dedicated a full page and search capabilities for all the food assistance for shutdown-related activities. We'd like to show you a live demonstration of what that looks like. You can imagine that all of our partners, their community partners, that it can be sometimes difficult to navigate days of the week when they were available. We've been able to take that and work with them, coordinate regularly on a daily basis as they ebb and flow. We have staff updating this behind the scenes to make sure it's current to that day, that time of the week. And so we'd like to do a quick demonstration of from our website. So again, if you go to our main site, that's 211sandiego.org, we've created right on the main screen the government shutdown food resources. If you click through to this, again, we've listed on this page almost everything you would want to know about the different food resources. There are hyperlinks that has overview. Right at the top, you have food resources. You also have ways to quickly fund and go to whether you want to supply a food location, if you want to fund the food bank or San Diego Feeding America. Again, if you go down to the different ways that you can search and feed resources, what I do suggest is one of the things is how to find food resources near you now. We have other ways on the page. You can look by supervisorial district or congressional district as well to find resources. You'll come into this site. This is a regular activity. This is live, making sure that it's bringing updated current information that on the back end gets updated by our staff. So again, we go to our main site. It's done a query already for almost all of 351 different types of food resources that are available. If we go up to the zip code or any keyword or phrase, there's AI that will drive that you can actually type in words of what you're looking for and age requirements that searches our database. If you type in the 92101 zip code and search, you'll be able to find, again, organizations, like here you have Third Avenue Charitable Organization, TACO. Again, it's that zip code. Again, it will tell you a host of information around days of the week. If you screen up a little bit, if we stay with one just for a moment. Again, looking at the hours of operation, days of the week, they are different according to one of the food resource partners, again, that work directly with one of the community food banks. You can scan down. If you push the 0.5 next to the map, next to that resource, Third Avenue, that's highlighted in blue, that will show you their location, again, to where you are. Again, if we X that back out of that and screen down, you can find other food resources, and it will tell you how far they are from the center of that zip code. Again, if this changes at all in any way, our staff is working with all these community partners. We're in regular contact with all of the community partners to make sure if they expand or contract or even capacity, that will change. Again, if you go in and you want more information, if the family, my glasses aren't on, the Food Family Center, if you click on that name up top, you'll be able to quickly go into, again, even more in-depth information about that. I think it's important. There are very few eligibility criteria during this time, but I think hours and operations, so this is why I think making sure to get this word out is preparing. We all know November 1st is Saturday. Again, our calls are increasing. Our website sits exponentially growing. So we really want to make sure people are prepared. Again, you can talk to our agents or go right to the site to find a location near you. Again, help map that. You can also expand your search because it's not just in your zip code. If it's Monday afternoon and you want to find food today, you might go to a adjacent neighborhood or another part of the city. It will tell you where transportation is to those routes and all of those locations. You might to expand to something today and what time. We do, again, or you can call us as well. If we back out of that, again, and again, if you go, to the left, if you want to find something specifically by your day, you want to search for food in 9201 today, you can click on Thursday, go back, and it's going to run a new query, and it's going to show you hours of operation that are available on Thursday. So again, it's pretty comprehensive on the back end. It's searching, finding up to date. There isn't, if it's not available, it will not show. So again, we've been working with the food banks for, again, we work with them every day. We've been emphasizing working more closely and making sure that this is all up to date and current. So again, I'm happy to answer any questions after. But again, their staff are available to take calls, and you're available to actually use the website now, up and running. Again, and if you know someone struggling, please make sure they know that 211 is ready to answer these calls as we do every day, that our website is active and updated and current. and that we're here, we're San Diegans helping San Diegans. So all of our staff and all of our teams are all here. We have family here. They know people affected by this, and they really want to assist in navigating this. And preparedness is I think, the important thing of this being so, a few days in advance of November 1st, is finding the right place. And again, if you have a difficult time in any way, we have agents, again, prepared, ready over the weekend to assist you. So at this time, I'd like to introduce the Assistant Director of Self-Sufficiency Services for the County of San Diego, Dr. Alberto Buenuelos.
Thank you, Bill. Buenas tardes. Queríamos tomar un momento para informarles que por causa del cierre del gobierno federal, los beneficios de CalFresh o beneficios para comida no serán depositados o disponibles para el mes de noviembre del 2025. Si su familia aún mantiene beneficios de meses atrasados, esos beneficios aún serán disponibles para su uso. También les queremos informar que si usted o alguien que usted conoce requiere recursos para conseguir alimentos para su familia, los invitamos a que marquen 211 o visiten su sitio web 211sandiego.org. Muchas gracias por su atención. And now I would like to hand it over back to our chair, Lawson-Remer.
Thank you. Thank you all so much. And thank you to everyone for being here today and for coming together to help our community meet this moment of hunger crisis. I again want to extend my deepest appreciation to Congressmember Mike Levin and our entire delegation who's really fighting to try to fix this deadlock in Washington because we know that the county is here. The county is here for our community. But ultimately, we're facing this hunger crisis because the federal government cannot seem to get its act together, and this administration in Washington refuses to do the right thing and make sure that hardworking families can put food on the table. So again, thank you very much for everyone being here, and we're open for questions.
Can I just ask the Congressman, since this is somewhat federally related, I don't know if you heard this morning, a federal judge, I think in Massachusetts, hearing the case brought by the attorneys general, is indicating, whatever that means, that she's prepared to intervene to get the administration to spend that $5+ billion. Any reaction to that?
I think that's inevitable. I think the law is very clear on this. I went back and reread the statute, and there's no prohibition on using this contingency funding in the event of a government shutdown. And having been involved in conversations with regard to these appropriations in the past, I can tell you that's exactly the kind of thing that we're planning to address, that we need contingency funds for, because it is unfortunately the new normal in Washington that, we can't do things the way they used to be done, come together, pass a bipartisan budget, actually get some common sense and common ground driving policy again. So it is an entirely predictable event to have a government shutdown. When I started in Congress, we had the longest government shutdown in history. It was 35 days. And I think now, we're set to break that next week. I don't want to. Again, I wish that today that Leader Thune and Mike Johnson would agree to discuss with us right now the extension of tax credits to help provide health insurance for millions and millions of Americans. I know we're here to talk about food today, but that really, at the end of the day, we want to talk about this healthcare crisis that isn't off in the distance somewhere. It's happening right now. People are getting their letters. They already have gotten their letters saying their premiums are going to double or triple. I had one woman tell me that for a family of 4, her premiums and all the out-of-pocket expenses will be over $55,000 on her covered California plan for next year. And these are healthy folks. All of us should care about this, even if you're not on covered California, by the way, because if millions of people all of a sudden are uninsured, every one of us is going to have to bear the expense. The system is going to have to bear the expense of the lack of preventative care, the acute care needs. We all go to the same hospitals. We all go to the same emergency rooms. We have to be mindful of the impact this will have on the overall system. And as far as the SNAP situation, this is a crisis entirely of the administration's making. They have the funds to be able to address this for the next 2 to 3 weeks. We know it, they know it, and that they would threaten that the food security, that they would threaten that 16 million kids have enough to eat, or that 1 million veterans have enough to eat. It's unconscionable. It's disgraceful. And I hope everybody at home realizes that that's what's happening.